We're here at Skills Ontario. This is like the Olympics for the skilled trades here in Ontario. So this is the provincial level. We're with Chris. Now, Chris, can you tell us your role with Skills Ontario, but also tell us a little bit about Skills Ontario and just how big it is?
Yeah, I'm Chris, and I'm with the stakeholder team. We're at the largest skilled trades and tech competition in all of Canada. We're at a facility here, the Toronto Congress Centre, 500,000 square feet, 2,900 competitors, 78 contests. This is the pinnacle of the skilled trades and tech. The best in Ontario are competing here today and yesterday, and it's fantastic. We love to see the tens of thousands of visitors that come through the doors and see what the future of the skilled trades and tech sectors looks like.
Now, for people who win gold here, they move on to Skills Canada.
Selected contests are parallel with nationals. They go on to compete in nationals, which happens to be in Toronto this year as well. And then at nationals, if they happen to win gold, and it again parallels to the World Skills program, they travel on to World Skills. This year it's in Shanghai, China. Last year was the qualifying year, so Team Canada's already set. Some of them are here. They're actually on the floor. They're part of things. So yeah.
Now, I feel like you guys probably need some social support in Shanghai. You need maybe a crew of 3 or 4.
That's above my pay grade, but you're welcome to talk to our competitions team and our CEO, and you never know. You never know.
Really excited to walk the floor, check out some of these competitions. Real quick, who is this open to? It's anybody up to the age of 29?
Yeah, but this facility is open to the public. There's no charge. And again, that's why we have tens of thousands. Last year we had 40,000 people over 2 days come through the doors.
Beautiful.
Now, here's an interesting fact that Chris told me, that each year we are breaking records with how many people are competing, so much so that they actually have to limit how many people are coming to compete, which is a great thing for the skilled trades. We have a massive shortage within the skilled trades here in Canada and North America, so the fact that we're seeing more and more people entering this competition just means we're doing something right.
Absolutely. Well, should we go check out some competitions?
Let's go see some carpentry.
All right, good. Let's go check it out.
So we have a live competition behind us, and that is a prime example. We got a woman in the skilled trades climbing that pole, saving someone's life, and then you can see people in the blue shirt. They're judging the competition. Now they're looking to make sure she's safe, she's doing things by the book, and this rescue goes accordingly. That's what the skilled trades are all about. I mean, his neck looks a little rough, but I'll get saved, but at what cost? So we got cabinet making behind us. And there's both secondary school and post-secondary school. These are young kids, and they're building custom cabinetry. This is really impressive.
I didn't know cabinet making was a separate Red Seal program. We don't think it is. We think it's under the umbrella of carpentry. Okay, so we just confirmed with Chris from Skills Ontario that cabinet making is in fact
when you see
a separate trade and Red Seal. So you can get a Red Seal specifically in cabinet making. This is good. I'm glad it's not under the umbrella of carpentry because I'm not a good cabinet maker.
You know,
and this is where it gets really weird with carpentry because this is a separate trade.
it's like there are so many different parts of carpentry. We need to separate it somehow. Like carpentry is very generalized, but a lot goes into carpentry. Scaffolding, cabinet making, foundation forming, you name it.
I think one of our upcoming competitions on Project Network is going to be cabinetry because it is stunning what you can do and some of the incredible craftsmanship that goes into it. And just like all of the other ones, we're going to say it 100 different times. These are the future, right? These are the kids that are going to be building the future of our world. Also, one of the judges is quite possibly the greatest carpenter ever alive.
We haven't seen any of his work, but you could just tell.
I'm just going solely based on how he looks.
Behind us is masonry. Now, in my opinion, this is a bit of a dying trade. It's extremely hard on your body. It's hard manual labor, and we don't see a lot of masonry now in the industry. It's a lot more expensive because we have less and less people getting into this trade. Now, behind me, you can see some extremely talented young masons. So this is at the high school level and post-secondary level. So we got big interest coming back into masonry, which we saw in the early 1900s to about 1950. There was some incredible brickwork. Somewhere along the way, it just became about building quantity and not quality. This is about bringing back the quality. you smell that, that's how we know where plumbing is. You can smell that ABS glue.
You can't smell it, that would be wild.
But coming to you soon, Point Load Media will bring smell-o-vision.
So, what I wanted to highlight here, plumbing, cool, right? It's one of the trades like I know really well when I think of trades, right?
As someone who does custom home building renovations, you need to have a good understanding of plumbing.
Now, one of the things that I really want to highlight here is at the plumbing booth, I think more than any other trade, I see a larger number of women.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's a lot of women in here working.
It really is cool to walk around and see, especially with the younger generation, there is definitely an increase in female participation in non-traditional female jobs, right? And we look at the plumbing thing, and there's 5 or 6 ladies in here, and they're crushing it.
So it's one thing not just to have women competing, but the women seem to be dominating this competition so far.
They're kicking some butt. So we got these. It was a ridiculously long line.
Yeah.
People need to learn how to line up.
Youngins don't know how to line up.
Yeah, we got to teach them the good British way of just like lining up properly. So we got a Nashville chicken sandwich from, where's it from?
RJ's Roadhouse.
We're gonna test it out. Hopefully it's good. Yeah, for a food truck, it's pretty good. Bueno. 5?
I was gonna go 4.
No.
You know what?
It is okay.
It's just basic.
Yeah.
Let's try the poutine. Maybe that's better. Gonna get a good bite there.
I've finished the first bite, and I'm going to downgrade to a 4. Yeah. It's a solid 4.
And this is why we're a good team.
I'm not upset with it, but I'm also not happy.
Poutine's tasty.
It's basic as shit though. It's a 4.
I was gonna say, I think across the board, we got 4s.
So, if you want a solid 4,
go to RJ's Roadhouse.
Yes, I wasn't gonna say that, but sure. Solid 4.
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Yeah, 4
Just to be clear. Not out of 5, out of 10. This teams of 2, they're all eating lunch right now, but I do just want to kind of call out, to me, carpentry is a team sport. So we've got like a single competition going on here, which is really cool to see single. They're building it's all single scale things, so they're building roofs, but they're roofs that are kind of at this height. It's not realistic, right? This doesn't happen in the real world. In the real world, you will almost always be working with a teammate. It's one of the reasons that we really like collaborators on Project Network. You're almost always working with somebody else. Huge shout out and much respect to the incredible craftspeople that do manage to work on their own. Man, you make it harder for yourself.
I had a buddy, Paul, PTR Carpentry, when he was starting out, he does custom framing for custom homes.
Yeah.
And he would do the framing himself. And
That's nuts.
now he's got a big crew underneath him, but to your point, it's a lot easier to work as a team. I see a lot of carpenters, they evolve to become maybe a construction supervisor or a construction manager, something like that. But typically, it's right. Carpentry, team sport.
Yeah. I'll say in general, the skilled trades are a team sport. Carpentry, personal experience, because it's the only one I got personal experience in, it is a team sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The other stuff messing around in my own house, that's solo.
This is one of 6 Skills Ontario trades and tech trucks. So these are mobile classrooms, essentially. On board, we have virtual welding, virtual spray painting, heavy machinery simulator. You can change a real tire, hairstyling, cake decorating, all sorts of things. Bringing the trades out into the communities, community events, school events. Just getting the word out there and letting people, and especially students, try the trades, hands-on experiences.
So let's go try some trades. Shall we?
Awesome. Let's.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now what do I want to be?
Everybody's different. Some people are there, some people are here and just
What about holding it like this? Is that?
they've done that. There's no trick to it.
Okay.
he's going to be the next Banksy. Mike, that is garbage. Even better.
Let's see you do better, pal.
Oh, that's good coverage.
Let's see the score. Bring it up. It's hard to.
3 red dots here.
Let's see it, buddy. Just said get in there. I'm gonna give you a 60.
Nah, that's poop. I can see it.
Cost us 87 cents to paint that, and of that 87 cents, you wasted 55 cents.
Wow. Why would you?
Screen on the controller, it will allow you to start.
Oh God.
Okay. And
Hold on.
You can do it.
Okay, perfect. And what I always say is second try is usually the better try.
This is
So
my
don't
second
hold
try.
Third try is even better. 75 out of 90. Not
Up, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
What was my score? Do you remember my score? Like 89?
As soon as you get that flash,
90?
95, I think. You're right. It was 95.
84. Oh. Really, really good.
So we're here with Brett Austin. We are at the, you can tell us.
We're at the CNC machining competition here at Skills Ontario, Canada.
So how does this work? What do they do?
They have about 3.5 hours to produce something that's measurable and fits inside their tolerance scope that we provide them, or there is no scores. There's high stakes here. There's a lot of tasks to get through to actually create that thing to hand it off to have the score.
Something like this. How is this judged?
These will all be optically scanned. So we get a spreadsheet that gives you your score. Your score is determined from the same print that everyone's provided. So
Wow.
very even playing field, but very ruthless judging, right?
What's the variation or the tolerance that you're looking for in a piece like this?
In some areas, we have tolerances down to 0.5 and 0.2 in metric, and to give that some kind of tangible explanation for people that aren't in machining, that's like if you took your hair from your head, split it about 10 times lengthwise, and one of those is the tolerance.
Well, Brett, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was really,
Thank you, guys.
yeah,
Good luck.
really interesting.
Thank you.
Cool.
Come by.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, I had some experience with CNC machines. It's very hard. The amount of times I'm like, okay, I've got the drawing, like I've drafted it up, it should work, doesn't work. Many times, most times actually. And that's why I do most things by hand.
Oh, I don't know. What is this? This is the entrepreneurship something. Entrepreneurship competition?
Entrepreneur area where it's like young entrepreneurs. So the first thing that happened when we walked in there is we ran into 2 grade 8 kids.
Yeah.
And they were building a robotic arm for space and for farming, I think.
Yeah, I was talking about picking up apples and then picking up moon rocks on Mars.
Yeah, like these kids are in grade 8. Like, what were you doing in grade 8?
I was playing video games.
Same.
And that was it. I don't think I was doing anything else.
Yeah, wasn't doing that.
Walking through there, it makes me feel really positive for the future of our country. The go-getters in there, like every single one of them has started a business. Most of the booths are selling something, and they're all up there like 12 to 16
Yeah,
age
there's
range.
a grade 10 girl popped out and started telling me about her scrunchies and her scrunchie company and how it's
Yeah.
sustainable. Like the confidence and the drive that these kids have.
Yeah.
To your point, it's like, man, I'm inspired.
I am inspired. I think if you're watching this, get off your butt, go do something.
Yeah, go build a company. If these grade 8 kids
Yeah.
and grade 9 and 10 kids are doing it, what are you doing?
Start a side hustle. There's no excuses.
And then turn that side hustle into your main hustle.
Exactly.
Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. You
That's
have to
so true.
I don't know. Do I have to get down to his level? Oh, just like this?
Has anyone seen I Am Robot? I Robot. I am Sam.
I am Sam. I am Legend. All right, here we go. Oh my God, a screwdriver. Thank you.
This was just an incredible show, and just seeing the support and the organizations that are behind that increased exposure into the skilled trades, right? Just like, it's not just for white dudes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's get everybody into the skilled trades.
Skill trades for everyone. Men, women, we don't care what you look like. If you like working with your hands, come into the skill trades. If you're not sure if you like working with your hands, come try a trade. Bottom line is, if you're curious about the skill trades, or if you like the skill trades, if you're interested at all, you should check out the Skills Ontario. Or if you're in the States, check into your state skills, provincial skills, wherever you are in Canada. World skills, national skills level. Check